There's a moment. You probably know the one already. You walk into a room, the kitchen, the back bedroom, the hallway, and your dog isn't where they should be. Not in the rug spot they've claimed for years. Not by the back door. Not in the patch of afternoon light they've made their own. They're somewhere you haven't really looked before. The cool tile under the couch, a shadow at the end of the hall. The corner behind the dresser that stays dark all day. And you stop. You watch them for longer than you meant to. They look back at you, or they don't, and something passes through you that isn't quite worry and isn't quite grief. Something older than both, quieter. A knowing that arrived before you had words for it, and that you've been trying not to look at directly ever since. That knowing is what brought you here, and before anything else, I want you to hear this. You are not imagining it. I'm Sam. I've had dogs my whole life. Right now, I live with a Chihuahua named Noodle, who's 8 years old, and a young poodle named Sesame. Noodle is healthy, well managed by his vet. But about a year ago, something shifted, and I started reading everything I could find about senior dogs. What the body does, what the behavior means, what dogs communicate in ways we almost miss. I read the way people read when something has moved and they feel it before they can name it. This is not a medical video. I want to say that plainly and early. I am not a vet. What I've put together here are 10 things dogs do in their final weeks and months, not to help you diagnose anything, but to help you understand, so you can be present for what's happening, instead of on the outside of it, waiting for it to make sense. I'm glad you're here. Stay with me on this one. Number 1, unusual stillness. One afternoon last October, I couldn't find Noodle. This sounds small. He's a small dog, and our house isn't large. But Noodle has a spot. The corner of the living room rug where the afternoon light hits exactly right. He's claimed that patch for 8 years like it was built for him. I looked there first. Then the couch arm. Then the kitchen mat by the sink, empty. I found him under the kitchen table, all the way in the back corner where the tile stays cold. He had never been there, not once in 8 years. He was lying down quietly, looking at nothing in particular. I sat down on the floor next to him. When a dog who has always lived in the warm, bright center of your world starts choosing corners, cool tile, shadow, the underside of furniture, something in them is doing careful, deliberate work. Not defiance, not confusion, not your dog moving away from you. They are saving themselves. Every calorie, every bit of energy they have, is being sorted and directed toward what matters most. Lying still in a quiet, cool place is how the body does that. Don't call them back. Don't coax them out of it. Go to them. Sit down on the floor next to where they are. That's all it takes. Number 2, appetite changes. There's a particular kind of pain in filling a bowl and watching your dog sniff it once and walk away. For most dogs, food is the most reliable enthusiasm in their whole life. 10 years of the same excitement every single morning. And then one day, the bowl sits there full. I want to say something gently here, because I'm in this story too. When Noodle started eating less, my first instinct was to try harder. Warmer food, different food, hand feeding from a spoon, and there's nothing wrong with any of those things in themselves. But I had to be honest with myself about which part of the effort was for him and which part was for me. Here is what happens in the body. Digestion requires energy, and a body near the end of its life quietly redirects that energy toward other things. Eating can cause discomfort in ways that don't show on the outside. The hunger signal itself begins to change. This is not a problem you can solve with the right flavor. What you can do, and I don't mean this as a technique, I mean it as time, is sit down next to them while they eat or don't eat. Offer small things from your hand if they want them. If they turn away, let them turn away. Sit there anyway. This is no longer just a meal. This is the time. Number 3, the eyes change. This is the sign people struggle most to describe. Not because it's subtle, it isn't, once you see it, but because language runs out right in front of it. You know your dog's eyes. You've looked into them 10,000 times, maybe more, and one day you look again, same eyes, same dog, and something is different in them. Not sick, exactly, not confused. Something further, like they're looking past you towards something you don't have the equipment to see. I want to tell you what the science found here, because I think it will help you hear what that look actually is. In 2015, a researcher named Miho Nagasawa at Azabu University in Japan published something that stopped a lot of people. When a dog and a human look into each other's eyes, genuinely hold the gaze, oxytocin rises in both of them simultaneously. The same bonding hormone that floods between a mother and her newborn, the same biological loop. Not a one-way transmission, both directions at once. Every time your dog has looked into your face across the years of your life together, that chemistry was happening in both of you at the same time. That is not a metaphor. That is a measurement, the look that's changing in your dog's eyes right now. The particular distance you can feel but can't quite name. The wiring underneath it is still there. It still fires when they find your face. They are not leaving. They are looking at you the only way they know how. With everything they still have, look back. Don't look away. Number 4, clinginess and then withdrawal. There's usually a phase first where they can't get close enough. They follow you from room to room. They put their head on your foot and keep it there past the point it's comfortable. They find your lap when the lap wasn't offered. Most people describe this period with a kind of aching gratitude. More than they usually ask for, offered without explanation. And it feels like a gift, and then, quietly, it stops. One morning they don't follow you to the kitchen. They stay on the blanket. They watch you move through the house from where they are, and they don't come. That second phase, the withdrawal, that one is harder. For many people, this is the moment when what's coming becomes impossible to set aside. I've come to believe both phases are saying the same thing in different languages. The clinginess is memory-making. They are learning you again, finishing you, taking in every version of you they can still reach. The withdrawal is something else, something that I don't have the right scientific phrase for, but that every hospice vet I've ever read describes the same way. A dog practicing, slowly and with great effort, the art of being all right without you. Not because they want to be, because some part of them already knows you'll need them to be. Both phases are love. Different words, same sentence. Number 5, mobility changes. Watch the staircase. If your dog has climbed the same flight of stairs every morning of their life, without a second thought, without slowing, and one day they stand at the bottom and look up, you will understand what that means before I finish saying it. It isn't confusion. It isn't stubbornness. There's a sense called proprioception, the body's internal map, the thing that tells your dog exactly where every paw is in space, the thing that made those stairs feel like nothing for years. When that starts to fail, when the joints and muscles that took thousands of flights without complaint begin to ask for too much, the stairs that were effortless become a calculation the body can no longer run automatically. They spent a life running to where you were. That motion, all of it, every leap from a couch, every sprint across a yard, every morning they hit the bottom stair at full speed, that was the most obvious, joyful expression of who they were. And it was the last thing they gave up easily. When you see them at the bottom of the stairs looking up, go carry them. Put them where they wanted to go. You don't need to make anything of it. You don't need to say anything. Just pick them up. Number 6, breathing changes. Last fall, sometime around 2 in the morning, I couldn't sleep. I went downstairs and found Noodle at the foot of the couch, awake. I sat down on the floor next to him without turning on a light. Just the two of us in the dark. And for the first time in 8 years of living with this dog, I really listened to him breathe. I don't know how long I sat there. I put my hand on his side, felt the rise and fall of it, started counting without deciding to count. If your dog's breathing changes, the rhythm, the effort, the sound of it in the night, that belongs in a conversation with your vet. I want to say that directly because I mean it. If you're noticing something different, that's not a YouTube video. That's a phone call. What your vet can hear and observe matters more than what I can describe from here. But before the phone call and in the quiet middle of the night, put your hand lightly on your dog's side. Feel it. Let yourself be in the room for the breath. You will know more from just that, just your hand on their side in the dark, than you think. Number 7, loss of interest. The ball is on the floor where you left it. The toy that used to produce an almost embarrassing enthusiasms the moment it came off the shelf. The one they'd bring back to you 100 times until you were the one who gave up first. They look at it now, and they look away. This is not absence. I know how it feels to watch this sign and read it as nothing being left. What's actually happening is a narrowing, not an emptying. The world has gotten quieter for them by necessity, and what remains inside that quiet is only what matters most. The appetite for everything has pulled itself in toward the center, and at the center is not the ball. You made the cut. The ball didn't. Don't push the ball back toward them. Don't try to restart the game. Go sit next to them instead. That's where they pointed you. Number 8, unusual affection. You'll know this one when it happens. You won't be able to explain why you know. You'll just know. It's a lick on your hand that's slower than usual. Deliberate. Like something is being said that has no other way to travel. It's the head that presses into your chest and stays there longer than usual. Not asking for a scratch, not restless, just placed there, with a weight that feels like it means something larger than it looks. I won't dress this in science, because I think science would only dilute it. What I can tell you is this: every person who has been given this moment, every person who has ever written to me after losing a dog, every comment I've read at 2 in the morning about this exact thing, they all describe it the same way. Something larger than a gesture, something that the language we use doesn't quite have room for. Sit still. Don't talk through it. Don't try to understand it while it's happening. Just receive it. That is all they're asking. Number 9, restlessness. This is the hardest sign to watch. They lie down. They get up. They take a few steps and stop. They stand in the middle of the room and look at the wall. They try the corner, then the middle of the floor, then next to the couch, and none of them work. None of them fit. Whatever they're looking for, they cannot seem to find it anywhere in the house. This is not something to wait out. This is not confusion. This is not a bad day. This is a body that can no longer give itself the thing it needs most, rest, and a living thing that cannot find rest is in a kind of suffering that shows whether they make a sound or not. When you see this, you are not watching something that will resolve on its own. You're watching a dog that is telling you, through the only language still available to them, that peace has become something they need you to help them find. I have to get to the last sign now, because this is the one I want you to understand completely. Number 10, the look. I've read hundreds of accounts, people describing the moment they knew, in comment sections, in emails, in letters written out by hand, and nearly all of them, without any coordination with each other, use the same language. They say, "He looked at me, and I just knew, not the usual look, not the look that means food or leash or someone at the door, something that takes longer and lands deeper, a look that holds, that doesn't break away, that finds your face and stays there, quiet and full, like it has something important to deliver that has no other way to travel." Here's what I know about that look from the science, and I only say this because I think it will help you believe what you already feel. The research out of Azabu University that I mentioned earlier, the oxytocin loop, the chemistry that fires when your dog holds eye contact with you, that doesn't stop. A decade of brain imaging has confirmed that the emotional architecture in a dog's mind is real, is measurable, is not something you were imagining. What you are seeing in that final look is everything that was ever between you, edited down to its most essential, compressed. Offered without words, because words were never what you two used anyway. Tell them out loud that they are a good dog. Because they have been every single ordinary day of their life with you. They have been a good dog. Tell them you are proud of them. Tell them it is okay. You don't have to believe it is okay yet. You don't have to feel it. Say it anyway. They need to hear it in your voice more than they need it to be true. That look is not a goodbye. It is bigger than goodbye. It is every good thing that ever passed between you, offered freely, needing nothing back. Look back. Stay in it. You will carry this. Now I want to talk about the question most people in this situation are actually asking. The one they haven't typed into a search bar. The one that lives in the back of the throat. How do I know when it's time? I'm not a vet. I want to say that again here, because this is the part where it matters most. There is no checklist I can hand you that tells you exactly when. And if someone hands you a clean 5-step answer, I'd be gentle but honest. It isn't that clean, and it isn't supposed to be. This is one of the most intimate decisions a person makes, and it carries weight because the love carried weight. What I've found useful, what people like Alice Villalobos, who spent years developing quality-of-life frameworks for veterinary palliative care, put into form, and what Dr. Hale walked me through when I first started asking these questions, isn't a symptom list. It's a set of honest questions you bring into the room with you. Is today, not perfectly, not without difficulty, but genuinely, more comfortable than it is hard? Is there still one thing, even something very small, that still reaches them? The sound of your voice, your hand on their side, a particular smell. Something that still produces a flicker of response, however quiet. And the hardest one, the one I think about when I think about Rusty, the dog I grew up with, who I lost when I was 15, who I still think about, is this. When I make the decision to continue, am I making it for them or for me? There is no judgment in that question. It doesn't have a wrong answer if it comes from love, but it is the most honest question available. A person willing to look at it directly is a person who loves their dog the way their dog deserves to be loved. Please bring your vet into this, all of it. Not a YouTube video, your vet, who knows your dog, who can look at them, who has information I don't have access to from here. The AVMA and veterinary hospice specialists have built resources for exactly this. Your vet can help you use them. Ask everything. You are allowed to ask everything. I want to say something for a different group of people, because I know you're here too. Not every dog has a slow goodbye. Some of them fight until the very last moment, with everything they have, because they don't know any other way to be with you. Some of them are here, and then suddenly they're gone, in a vet's office, in a car, on an ordinary Tuesday morning when you had no reason to think it was coming. If that's where you are, you did not miss their love. Their love was not stored up for the ending. It was in every morning they heard your car in the driveway, every time they found your shoes, every unremarkable Tuesday they got to spend in the same house as you. You didn't miss it. You had it. You had all of it. And then there is this question, the one people carry longest, and the one almost nobody addresses directly. Did I do enough? Most people I've heard from, after losing a dog, go through a period of running the days back. The morning they chose work, the week they were distracted, the months when the slowness seemed like aging and they didn't push harder to find out. They run through those days and they find themselves in them, smaller, more ordinary, less attentive than they wish they'd been, and they apply the knowledge they have now, grief-sharpened, after-the-fact knowledge, with the map in hand, to the person who was living those days without it. I want to say this carefully because I mean every word of it. The person who looks back at those days with clear eyes has all the information. They know how the story ends. They can see what they couldn't see then. That is a real person. But they are not the same person who lived those days. The person who lived those days, who went to work, who assumed it was just age, who didn't know what they were watching, that person was doing something else entirely. They were loving their dog with everything they understood about love at that moment in time, with the map they had, with the person they were. You cannot hold the second person to the standard of the first. One of them had the map. One of them was in the territory. You cannot fault the one in the territory for not knowing what the map shows. Your dog didn't keep a list. Not one late night was written down against you. Not one missed walk. Not one ordinary Tuesday when you were tired and distracted and human and doing your best. What they kept, what they carried with them through every year of their life with you, was the smell of you, the sound of your voice, the specific weight of your hand, The way you said their name, they carried you. Every single day. All the way to the end, that is what you gave them. And it was enough. You came here because something in you already knew. You didn't need someone to tell you to pay attention. You were paying attention. That's what brought you here, at this hour, to this video, sitting wherever you're sitting right now. That attentiveness, the willingness to look at this instead of away from it, is not weakness. It is the last and most active form of love available to you. Showing up, aware, eyes open. For the creature who has never done anything but show up for you, I want to leave you with 3 things. Learning these signs is not a betrayal of your dog. It is not giving up. It is loving them by paying attention, the same way they have paid attention to you their whole life with everything they had. When the moment comes, however it comes, whenever it comes, you will be more ready than you think. Not ready in the way of not hurting. That kind of ready doesn't exist for any of us. Ready in the way of you've been paying attention. You know this dog. You know this love. Trust that. And the last thing, the one I want you to carry when you close this, the love doesn't end. I know how that lands right now. But the people on the other side of this, months out, years out, they almost all say the same thing. It doesn't stop. It shifts. It moves into a different part of you. It changes shape. But it stays. If you have a dog you're sitting with right now, or one you've already lost and still carry, I'd love for you to leave something below. A name, a memory. One moment. I read every one of them. I read everyone. And the ones about the dogs you still miss, those are the ones I keep the longest. See you out there.